My name's Donna Camardo. This year, I'm still working in athletics and with a new athletic director who you'll meet in just a minute. But I'd like to start the meeting with a prayer. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. This prayer is for parents. Lord, give me the eyes to see you in my children, your heart to love them, and your gentleness to help them grow. Give me your wisdom to guide them and your strength when I need to let them go. Amen. Now, what I'd like to start out with in just a few minutes, and then we're going to get into our guest speaker because she has to hustle back to Connecticut tonight. We are full partners with Play Like a Champion program at the University of Notre Dame. What that means is that over the last 7 years, all of our coaches have been trained by Play Like a Champion, and we try each year to promote good sportsmanship, character, leadership, and service. To that end, leadership with our captains is required that they take a captain's course before they can even consider being a captain or being selected as a captain. So the captain's course this year will be online. So anybody who is selected as a captain, if they haven't done it, they will have to complete the course in order to serve as a captain, just so you know that. With service, each team is required to do a service project as a team. The coach organizes that. Some of them do multiple service projects, but at the very least, they do one as a team. And it turns out, I mean, whatever they've done in the past, my teams always did the Special Olympics, basketball. The kids always enjoy it, and it's such a great experience for both parties. We also have in the works that we are trying to eliminate youth hunger in sports. That's going to be an ongoing process for all the teams. But there will be information coming on that. The good character, of course, comes with not having any disciplinary issues and things like that. The thing that I want to promote is that your kids are student athletes, meaning they're students first. So if they don't get it done in the classroom, they're not going to make it to the field. So that's where we need you to stay on them, because we don't want to have athletes who are ineligible. We don't want to have athletes who go through 4 years and all of a sudden find out, oh, wait a second, my core GPA isn't high enough to go to Notre Dame. You know, so what we've implemented is a program, and this is what I really want you to focus on, because it's going to be a joint effort between athletics, guidance, and you, is the core course GPA. We have a program that we are going to deliver to all the freshmen in the third quarter. And any upperclassmen will get it through their teams. What they will get is an account that the school has already paid for to the core course GPA. In that account, they can put all their courses. They can put their aspirations, whether it's Division I or Division II or Division III. And it will tell them what courses they need, how many more courses they need, if their grades are good enough, if their core GPA needs to go up. It's really self-explanatory, but you want to make sure, if you have a serious athlete, you want to make sure that they are taking the courses that are NCAA approved. And if you have any problems with either guidance not answering you correctly or whatever, you can come to the athletic office and we will help. But I don't want to be in a situation where there's a senior who's a stud and every school wants him, but his core GPA isn't high enough to get him in. How did that happen? So that can't happen, all right? And that's why we instituted this program. So I'm really proud of this program. I think it will do wonders for our school and for our athletes. And I really think that everybody will benefit from it. Okay, so it's core course GPA. You can Google it to see what it's like, but every child in the building will have a free account. So you want to make use of it. Lastly, with Play Like a Champion, the other thing that we do promote, obviously it's a Catholic school, we do want each team to have some sort of prayer service as a team or mass as a team. And each team will be blessed by our campus chaplain. What we want from the kids is that they become comfortable with their faith. They become comfortable around other kids. So we put it in their hands. They lead the team prayers before games, after games, before practices, after practices, and I leave it up to the captains to make sure that that happens. Mark and I, Mark, who is the new AD, are going to institute this year a captain's roundtable where we'll meet with the captains maybe once every 3 weeks and see what's going on, see what needs fixing, what is good, what is not. Get it from the kids, because the idea in my mind is to be proactive, not to be reactive. So when something's happening, we need to be out in front of it. And we need your help to do that. So lastly, what I do ask is that you let the coaches coach and let your child take ownership of his or her team. So if there is an issue with a coach, I would ask you to have your student athlete talk to the coach. If they don't want to talk to the coach, they can talk to me, they can talk to Mark, and we can talk to the coach with them. But they're in high school now, so we want them to take ownership because they are the ones that are in the trenches. They are the ones that are there at practice every day. They're the ones that are listening to the coach and talking to the coach. Each team will have a parent meeting in their season. It'll be a sports-specific meeting. At that meeting, you'll find out what the coach expects and what their requirements are, whether it's running a mile, whether it's 6 days a week practice, 1 day off, whatever it happens to be. So it's really important that when the season begins, you attend that sports-specific meeting, okay? So before I introduce the guest speaker, I'd like to first introduce our trainer, Aaron Brown. If your child is injured, Aaron is the person you need to send them to, okay? Aaron will not try to keep them off the playing field or off the court. She will try to get them back as quickly as possible. If your child is injured and you go to an outside physician, we need a clearance note before we can let them play. That's not our rule, that's a state rule. So if somebody's hurt or they're cramping or they pulled a hamstring or whatever, tell them to go see Erin. She's here every day before 2 o'clock and she's here for all the practices, she's here for all the games. So she's an integral part of the athletic program that you want to make use of. And I can't stress that enough because a lot of times the kids don't want to go to her, but then they end up getting hurt worse. So we don't want that to happen. And now, last year, those of you who know me, I've been here forever. So last year I served as an interim athletic director. This year I am sort of in that role, but I want to take a minute to introduce the person who's going to take over that role as the full-time athletic director. He was an '08 graduate of Paul VI. He played soccer. He coached soccer at Drexel and at Holy Family. He comes to us as an admissions and athletic liaison for Holy Family and a compliance officer. So he brings a lot to the table. Mark Fred.
Thank you, Don. Good evening, everybody. Welcome back. Thank you for being welcome back here as well. I'm excited about the new position. Thank you, Don, for the introduction. So one of my main initiatives here at Paul VI as the AD will be to get your student athletes, our student athletes, your sons and daughters from point A to point B and prepare them for their next steps of life, wherever that may be, whether that's be collegiate athletics, college, trade school, whatever they choose to do. Coinciding with the Play Like a Champion program, as Donna mentioned, my main background is in collegiate athletics. I've coached at the Division I and the Division II level. I've worked side by side with compliance officers at the Division I and Division II level. So streamlining, the process from high school to collegiate athletes to make sure all of our athletes are NCAA cleared through the NCAA clearinghouse and eligible by the time they step on the field in the NCAA is one of my main goals. And what Donna said is right on the head. You're a student before you're an athlete. I can tell you firsthand that unless you're in 2% of the 2%, that if you don't perform in the classroom, you are no good to a college coach. And I can tell you that with firsthand experience. I won't keep my spiel too long here because I know we have a guest speaker that's getting back to Connecticut, but I'm excited for this opportunity. I'm excited to be here. If you need anything at all, our door is always open. With technology, we're pretty much available 24/7, and we're pretty much here around the clock between one of us. We will be working side by side, but if you need anything at all and Donna's not available or I'm not available, please feel free to reach out to the other person. Again, 24 hours a day I'm available to you, and I lastly want to thank every single one of you for everything you do for the school. You guys truly are the backbone of this community, and I look forward to working with all of you. And I'll turn it back over to Donna. Thank you.
I'm just excited that we have a young person here with some good blood who can run up the bleacher steps instead of me. So, what can I tell you? But without any further ado, I want to take this opportunity to introduce our guest speaker who comes to us originally from Del Gran. Coach Fabry, and am I saying that right? All right, so Coach Fabry, I should have asked her that really before I started, but she played college basketball at Fairfield University, where she set a school record in points scored in a game with 35 against Memphis University. She scored 1,622 points and grabbed 1,037 rebounds en route to being named to the All-Rookie team and to the MAC All-Conference First Team the following 3 seasons. Her team won 2 MAC championships and subsequent automatic bids to the NCAA Women's Basketball Championships. She was elected to the Fairfield University Athletic Hall of Fame in 1998 and named to the MAC 25th anniversary team in 2005. Tricia began her coaching career as an assistant at Fairfield from 1991 to 1995. Since taking over the helm at Quinnipiac in 1995, she has become the all-time winningest coach in Quinnipiac program history, with much success on the court, but just as much off the court, as her team and her players have won many academic All-American awards. Her bio was so long that I really just didn't know what to pick out of it. There was so much to choose from. So to finish it off, Tricia lives in Stratford, Connecticut with her husband Paul and their 3 children, Carly, AJ, and Paul Henry. Paul Six is happy and honored to welcome Coach Tricia Fabry.
I have a coaching voice. I don't know if I need the microphone. Well, Donna, thank you so much for this introduction. First of all, this is just refreshing. Sitting here amongst you, and I get to speak and just give a little bit about myself and hopefully some wisdom. But first of all, we've been trying to do this for a couple of years. And honestly, to be back in a campus at Quinnipiac and then have the ability tonight to come out and see all of you here and get to be with you and see faces and not a screen, I can't tell you how much joy that brings me. So thank you for coming out, first off. I just want to tell you, Donna read a lot about me, but a little bit more about me. I am the oldest of 4 children, and family is very important. There's family first. And still to this day, I'm entering my 27th year as the head coach at Quinnipiac University. which is a little plug, 20 minutes north of New Haven, great school, not that far away from where we are right now. Nice little 3.5-hour ride. So come up and come visit us and come see me anytime you want. But what started what you are all doing right now in your journey as parents won't end. And what I was blessed with and why I'm up here is I still have what I always had in any big moment, in any big game, in anything that was going to happen to me. My mom and dad were always there. And tonight is no exception. So I have John and Peg Sacker with me right here. Nice little round of applause for my mom and dad. We'll get into a little bit of, who said what in the car ride home when we were playing the games. But also, I have my Aunt Claire and my Uncle Kevin, and my Aunt Claire is recently retired from Paul VI as the former campus director of campus ministry. I can't get that out, sorry. So I apologize for that, but I have my aunt and my uncle here. I'm the oldest of four. I was a girl. My mom will always tell the story that when I was born, my dad said, "It's a girl." Like, how could this happen, right, in sports? But I have 3 brothers, and my parents were lifetime teachers and always coaches. The foundation that we got, my brothers and I, we're second to none. We grew up loving sports. It was always a fabric and a DNA of who we were and how we identified ourselves growing up. Delran was a great sports town. I was very fortunate enough to be on the wave of a Title IX and all that was changing in equity, which obviously, in the NCAA, the women's tournament this year, what happened at the women's tournament. But sports is really how we did identify with family and how we grew up in a great town in Delran. And I was lucky enough to have my mom and dad drive me, nothing was really local, going up to Trenton 3 times a week and over to Philadelphia. And that didn't subside with my brothers coming through either. My mom and dad did one heck of a job. All 4 of their children received Division I scholarships to go on and play collegiately, but we were always student athletes, as the stress is here, student first and then athlete. I was fortunate enough to play, and you say play like a champion, your program. I was fortunate enough to play with one of your alumni who went on to Notre Dame and was a great basketball star here in Karen Robinson. So I think I'm really dating myself. So I love to hear that you have this program, Play Like a Champion. Karen Robinson popped right into my mind, a great former basketball player here. I went up to Fairfield. I was my brothers went on to play football at Penn State. They were quarterbacks. My youngest brother went up to Rutgers. So needless to say, student and athlete is always hand in hand, but you would never get out to the field, never get out to any game, any court that you were going to try and get on if you did not have not just good grades, but there was an expectation. So I go up to Fairfield, I play, I have a pretty good career. I meet my now husband, who did ride in on a white horse and propose while the team was warming up at Fairfield. So I was a young assistant at the time, and my head coach, who is also from South Jersey, looks at me, and I just knew we needed to win that game, otherwise I was going to be in big trouble afterwards. And we won the game by 2 points, so I'm thankful for that. I think I have a unique perspective, going on to coach after my playing days at Quinnipiac University. And that perspective is one of being a head coach at a Division I women's basketball program. It's also a perspective of being a parent, where you all are sitting there tonight, to my own 3 children who play sports and student athlete. So I have that really unique perspective of what I can really share tonight on all three of them. Do we have any of the coaches here? Yeah, a couple of the coaches. So, times are always evolving, we're always adapting to be our best, and I've been doing this now, coaching a total of 31 years. When I was playing, it was just do what the coach said. You do what the coach says, no questions asked. It was their way or the highway. But now coaching 16 young women, we've been fortunate enough, if you are a diehard women's basketball fan or just a general fan at Quinnipiac, we've gone to the Sweet 16 recently. We've been to the NCAA 5 times. And throughout those 27 years now, I've had to really adapt a style of coaching. Not the standard, but the style. And the pendulum has really now swung in terms of how you do communicate and how you do coach your young people. You are those mentors and those mentees. So I really do, as you're going through and getting ready for your season, you need to be really open and transparent with having those communications and those talks, with these young people. Obviously we're challenged, we're coming off a really difficult time, so I said last year, we weren't in quarantine, we were cocooned. So coming out of that is difficult. But the style in which you communicate with these young people now is really more important than ever before. And I really ask that you be open to different styles of communication with your players now. Just this year I adjusted to having almost open hours on a Friday afternoon. I blocked out, as long as I can, some schedules, some time from like just 12:30 to 3:30. It allowed, when I can, to just meet my young ladies off where our arena is, but down on the main campus. It's been beautiful weather. We take advantage of it. It's a gorgeous campus. You should come visit us. And not make it about basketball. They want to know you really care. And when you give that time to them, and I know it's difficult with your schedules, but any way you can facilitate just an open dialogue in a space that is just a little bit different has been invaluable for me. And literally sitting under a tree in a great Adirondack chair for a little while, and I know again timing is difficult. But any way that just gets them comfortable in speaking to you, and you really do show that you care, will get the ultimate best out of each individual on your team. So that's really one perspective that I have had full circle in all my experiences of coaching these young women who are pretty brilliant. I mean, our team GPA sits between a 3.3 and a 3.5. It's demanding at Quinnipiac. Their time is of the essence when they train and where we travel, and obviously their courses. So I think it's really important that we as coaches can facilitate a really great dialogue that makes them super comfortable in coming to you and start building those relationships with your players. My second perspective is really unique too, because I was a mom, I am a mom, and I was a coach at the same time. So my daughter was a good high school player, had torn each of her ACLs, obviously worked really hard to come back and get, have a decent high school career. I won't be humble about this. She led her team to their school's only state championship, so that was pretty good. But she decided to come play for me. She had other opportunities And that, again, as a parent sitting in the stands, and then I had my own young lady that I was coaching, which was, not as, it was more challenging for her than it was for me. I watched my nephew play recently, and you're sitting in the stands as parents, and you say, why is she doing that? Why is he doing that? She should be playing, he should be playing. Those decisions that are being made. But as a parent, you are modeling what Pole 6 is all about. Your values in teamwork. And I think that's ultimately, from the coaches to the students to the parents, you're all working together for something bigger than what you are as an individual. You need to have those individuals selfless and team first. I would get in those car rides with my father, and I would have, I don't know, decent offensive game, but I could really rebound the ball. And those car rides home you knew that you could have done a little bit better. And I was like, I know. But as parents, I really urge, and I heard Donna say this as well, I think probably the biggest asset right now to your young men and women in school right now is their lack of confidence to speak to the coach. And parents, let your son or daughter learn to advocate for themselves. That is what sport teaches life on and off the court in a big picture. You can certainly talk to them about the situation if it's not great. But please, please allow them to come in and be able to articulate and have a great conversation with their coach about where some shortfalls are. For me, it's just always playing time. Where is the playing time? This is a great skill you can now begin to instill at the young age in high school that will carry them through the rest of their life if they can truly articulate the disappointment. The other thing I would say to the parents too, because I have two sons that played as well, is failure is okay. Failure not to win that particular game. To me, one of my basic philosophies is, we shoot for the stars, but we do have failure. And that failure is an opportunity for incredible growth. And I've always found our ultimate success and successes that we continue to have is through a setback and adversity. And it's in those moments that your young people are going to be defined, whether it's going to be in sports or in a friendship or anything that's happening, is they're not going to have every day rainbow and butterflies and it's going to go their way. They need to have some failure and face the adversity of what's important to them to rise out of that. And that has always been success for me. What is important? What do you value? How can you be a part of it and help achieve what the team first, and selflessness, in any role, in any capacity. That that has become more of a challenge. I don't know if everything's on the phone, on the screen, and it's a difficult skill to learn face to face. And the same thing is with perspective. When it's not going well for you and the team still wins, that bus ride back, we need everybody what we call waving the tail. If it's not you, wave that tail for your teammate. Team first. There's not a lot of things, whether it's a game or in the game of life, that you're going to do all by yourself and do it well and become the best you can become. It's going to be with your teammates, your friendships, those important relationships that will get you to where you want to be ultimately. So that perspective is big picture approach. Have your individual absolute goals, but how can you contribute to ultimately the team first? And that is ongoing conversations that we do all the time. Leadership workshops, conflict resolution. And it's okay to have a conflict, as long as it is respectful and you move towards that middle ground. A lot of times that conflict can be extremely healthy. Keep it respectful, and then learn to articulate. And then that's where you will continue to have success as a student athlete. In closing, sports is important. You are all here. Your sons and daughters are the front porch to this school. They read about you all. They know what's going on. Everybody is rabid sports fans. You parents, you coaches, and your sons and daughters that are playing are the first opportunity most have heard about these Eagles. You are the front porch. Be the example. They're the reason why they want to continue to come and be a part of an incredible community and family here at PVI. So, thank you for your time. I know we have a little Q&A if anyone has a question going forward. And hopefully those remarks just kind of stick with you. And I think the biggest thing is allowing them to have a degree of failure and being able to face that adversity and come back.
Does anybody have any questions for Coach at this time? You sure? All right. Can I ask my coaches to stand up so I can at least introduce you? All right, so just to put a name to the face, Kashif Miller is our winter track and spring track coach. Moving from him to Tim Casal is our men's golf coach. Deanne Phillips is a teacher here and a baseball coach. Move back to Morgan Cieslik, Vince Cieslik, Mike Rankin, all cross country. Lisa Jack, Brianna D'Ambrosio, cheerleading. And right in front of me, Gary Sarno, baseball. In the back, we've got Karen Anderson and Lauren Ferretti, girls soccer. And to my right, Andrea Finnegan and Andre Schwab for field hockey. I think I said that right. Thank you guys. Now, if you have any questions for them and you want to hang around and ask, you can. But like I said, every team will have a parent meeting that you should attend. I just want to say a personal thank you to Coach Tricia. She did a great job. Sometimes, you need to hear things from someone else. and someone at the collegiate level has so much to offer when they've come through every level. The only thing I have to disagree with is I coached my own daughter, and I think it was harder for me, but it was fun. But in any case, and the mom and dad, I just can't even fathom not having had my parents at every single sporting event and any talk that I gave. So kudos to you as well, because with 4 kids, you definitely got some steps in. So I appreciate you guys all coming out. If you have any questions and you want to hang and ask them, you are welcome. Otherwise, please be safe. You can exit through the back door and go right out through the parking lot. Thank you so much for coming.